There was a time when men were feared, a time when a man's word was law, when his presence commanded respect, authority, and dominance. But look at the world today. Look at yourself. Do you inspire fear? Do you demand respect? Or are you just another insignificant, replaceable cog in the machine? You were born into a system that doesn't want you to be powerful. They have broken you. From the moment you were a child, they conditioned you to be soft, obedient, weak. They filled your mind with nonsense about being nice, about waiting your turn, about being patient. And you believed them. But let me tell you something that will change your life forever. The world belongs to the men who take it. Success isn't given, it's seized. And the only men who rise to the top are the ones who operate by an entirely different code. The warrior's code. The warrior's code is not about luck. It's not about waiting for opportunities. It's about creating them. It's about shaping your own destiny with nothing but sheer force of will. It's about waking up every single day with one mission: to conquer. Weak men act on emotions. They hesitate, they second guess themselves, they overthink, waiting for the perfect moment. But warriors execute. Discipline is their foundation. Pain is their fuel. Failure is nothing more than a stepping stone to dominance. They do what they must, not what they feel like. You think discipline is hard? You think training every day is exhausting? You think pushing yourself beyond your limits is unbearable? Good. It's supposed to be. That's why so few men are willing to do it. That's why the world is filled with failures, cowards, and quitters, because the second they feel discomfort, they stop. The moment the journey gets difficult, they fold. But you are not one of them. A warrior doesn't need motivation. He doesn't need inspiration. He doesn't sit around waiting to feel ready. He moves forward regardless of doubt, pain, or fear. His actions are dictated by purpose, not fleeting emotions. Think about it. How many times have you skipped a workout because you didn't feel like it? How many times have you postponed success because you were too tired? How many times have you betrayed yourself by choosing comfort over growth? And where has it gotten you? Nowhere. But there is another way, a path that few will ever walk, the path of absolute, unshakable discipline, the path where a man becomes indestructible. You see, most men are prisoners of their own minds. They are controlled by their cravings, their urges, their impulses. They let temporary discomfort dictate their entire future. But a warrior is a master of himself. He doesn't complain. He doesn't seek validation. He doesn't waste energy on meaningless distractions. Every action is calculated. Every move is precise. Every decision is made with one goal: total domination. You want to be rich? You want to be powerful? You want the world to bow when you walk into a room? Then you must become a different man. A man who does what others refuse to do. A man who wakes up before the rest of the world, who trains when his body screams for rest, who works when others are watching TV, who sacrifices today's pleasure for tomorrow's empire. No distractions, no hesitation, no weakness. The only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is your own inability to suffer. You run from hardship when you should embrace it. You avoid pain when you should harness it. You complain about how hard life is when you should be forcing life to bend to your will. Do you know why the weak hate the strong? Because discipline exposes their excuses. The moment you become relentless, the moment you start moving with purpose, aggression, and intensity, you become a mirror that reflects their failure back at them. And they can't handle it. They'll call you arrogant. They'll say you've changed. They'll tell you to slow down, to relax, to enjoy life. But in reality, they just want you to remain as weak as them. And that is why you must cut them off. This world will either shape you into a warrior or break you into nothing. There is no in between. There is no middle ground. You are either dominant or disposable. Which one will you be? Every hour that passes is another hour you'll never get back. Every day you waste is a day closer to permanent mediocrity. But you don't feel it, do you? Because you think you have time. You don't. Right now, someone else is taking your future. Another man, less intelligent, less talented, less capable, is working while you hesitate. He's learning skills while you procrastinate. He's building connections while you sit in silence. And when he succeeds, when he gets the money, the respect, the life you wanted, you'll look in the mirror and realize something horrifying. It should have been you. But by then it will be too late. You won't even recognize yourself, a shadow of the man you were supposed to be. Your dreams, gone. Your confidence, shattered. Your ability to command respect, non-existent. You think success will always be there waiting for you. You think you can start next week, next month, next year, but opportunity does not wait, it moves. It moves toward the men who chase it. And every second you stand still, it moves further away from you until it's so far ahead that you can't even see it anymore. The worst pain a man can feel is watching another man live the life he should have had. Seeing him with the woman you wanted, driving the car you dreamed of, spending money without a second thought while you struggle to survive. And when that moment comes, when you realize you lost the race before you even started, what will you do? Blame the world? Blame the economy? Blame bad luck? None of it will matter. The truth will hit you like a bullet. You lost because you hesitated. And that hesitation will cost you everything. The next decade is going to be the most brutal economic shift in human history. The rich will multiply their wealth at an unfathomable rate. The poor will be erased. There will be no middle class, just winners and losers. And you will decide right now which side you will be on. Because here's the reality. If you are not actively rising, you are falling. There is no pause button. There is no neutral ground. Every decision you make, every second you delay, pulls you further down the chain. The world is moving faster than ever before. If you are not adapting, you are being left behind. If you are not building, you are being replaced. If you are not aggressively securing your future, you won't have one. Think about this. How many chances have you already missed? The investment you ignored because you were unsure. The skill you didn't learn because it was too hard. The business idea you abandoned because you were scared to fail. Now look at the men who took those chances. They are thriving. They took the risk. They pushed through the fear. They moved while you stood still. And that is why they are winning and you are not. You have one chance, one life, one opportunity to either rise or disappear. And if you think you can wait until tomorrow to start, understand this. Tomorrow is already too late. From this moment forward, you move differently. You think differently. You operate with absolute, unshakable intent. Weak men hesitate, they overthink, they drown in self-doubt. But warriors attack. They see an opportunity and they take it before another man does. You have wasted years living like a spectator, watching from a distance while others seized power, took risks, and dominated their environment. That era of hesitation ends today. Success is not a mystery. It is not luck. It is the result of relentless execution. You wake up and you go to war. You train like your life depends on it, because it does. You work with ruthless efficiency, eliminating distractions like a soldier clearing a battlefield. Every single second is a choice. Progress or stagnation, dominance or mediocrity, power or irrelevance. Do you understand what's at stake? Do you feel it in your bones? That burning need to break free from the cage of weakness and take control of your own existence? There is no secret formula. There is no shortcut. Only discipline, only work, only action. You either show up and demand more from yourself, or you will be forgotten. You will be a footnote, a failed attempt, a cautionary tale of what happens when a man refuses to rise. Look around. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy ever built, it was not given, it was taken. And the only way you get what you want is by becoming so damn undeniable that the world has no choice but to respect you. Losers wait for permission. Winners create their own reality. They move with precision, strategy, and ruthless determination. Your name should carry weight. Your presence should shift the atmosphere. When you walk into a room, men should feel it and women should admire it. But that level of power is earned, not wished for. Most people will never taste true success because they refuse to suffer for it. They quit when it gets hard. They slow down when discomfort sets in. You keep going, because every rep, every late night, every sacrificed comfort brings you closer to the life most men only dream about. There is no good enough. There is no I tried. There is only victory or defeat. You are no longer the man you were yesterday. That man is dead. This is your rebirth. Move like a king. Think like a conqueror. Dominate like a warlord. And if you refuse, if you let this moment slip away, then you deserve to be forgotten. You wake up every morning trapped in a cycle of mediocrity and failure. You tell yourself you're trying, but deep down, you know the truth. You are failing. You are being outworked, outperformed, and outcompeted by men who want it more than you, and they are taking everything. You sit there scrolling your phone, watching other men live the life you dream of, fast cars, endless money, respect, power, and you tell yourself one day. But one day never comes, because while you hesitate, they execute. While you waste time, they conquer. Every second you waste is a second you will never get back. That should terrify you, but it doesn't, does it? Because you've been trained to accept weakness. You've been programmed to believe that everything will work out. It won't. Let me tell you something cold, hard, and undeniable. There is no fairness. There is no mercy. The world is a jungle, and only the strongest survive. The rich get richer, the powerful get more powerful, and the weak, they get discarded like trash. And here's the brutal truth. You are the weak. You don't train. You don't hustle. You don't dominate. You consume. You sit there watching, admiring, fantasizing, but you never act. And every day you do nothing, you fall further behind. Look around you. The economy is collapsing. AI is replacing jobs. The rich are getting richer at a speed you can't even comprehend. Do you think the world is going to slow down for you? Do you think there's going to be a perfect moment to start? No, and let me make this even clearer. No one is coming to save you. Your parents, they did their best, but they don't know how to escape the system. Your friends, they're just as lost as you. The government, they want you weak, compliant, and powerless. You have two choices: adapt or die. Every man has a timeline. Right now, your timeline is running out. And if you don't take control, the world will decide your future for you. And do you know what that future looks like? A life of regret, a life of weakness, a life where you are irrelevant. You think I'm being extreme? Then tell me, when was the last time you won at something? When was the last time you dominated? When was the last time you made a decision that changed your life for the better? You can't even remember. And that should make you furious. That should ignite something inside of you. But instead, you'll do what you always do: nothing. You'll keep watching, keep scrolling, keep convincing yourself that someday, somehow, it'll all work out. But it won't, because life doesn't reward the weak. It rewards the strong, the relentless, the disciplined, the men who see what they want and take it. And right now, you are not that man. You are disposable. You are a statistic. Another faceless, average nobody, waiting to be replaced by a man who is willing to do what you want. And that, my friend, is reality. The question is, what the hell are you going to do about it? This is it. The moment where you decide whether your life changes forever or stays exactly the same. No more thinking, no more debating, no more waiting for the perfect time. That time is now, right now. You have been given the truth. You have seen the reality of what happens to men who hesitate. You know what's at stake. And now you have only two options. One, you take control. You rise up. You attack every single day with unstoppable force. You refuse to let another man outwork, outthink, or outperform you. Two, you stay the same. You ignore everything. You go back to your old habits. You let the world walk all over you, and you wake up 10 years from now miserable, broke, weak, and invisible. Because make no mistake, if you do nothing, you are choosing failure. There is no middle ground. There is no safety net. There is no maybe. You either win or you lose. This is not just about money. This is not just about success. This is about survival. In a world where only the strongest men thrive, the weak are crushed, discarded, and forgotten. Look in the mirror. Who do you see? A man who commands respect, a force to be reckoned with, a leader, a warrior, an unstoppable machine, or just another ghost? Another nameless, powerless, defeated shadow of what could have been? Because if you walk away from this without taking action, that is exactly what you'll become. Another statistic, another lost cause, another man who had potential but let it rot. And once that happens, there's no way back. There's no do-overs. The world will not give you another chance. This is your final warning. The men who succeed in life are not lucky. They are not gifted. They are relentless. They see a path and they walk it. They don't hesitate. They don't negotiate with fear. And that's exactly what you need to do right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not one day, now. Because if you don't move now, if you don't act now, if you don't commit to change this very second, then be honest with yourself, you never will. And that means you have already lost. Make your decision. Right now, you are invisible. No one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one is waiting for you to succeed. You wake up every day, scroll through your phone, look at the people who have made it, and wonder why your life isn't like theirs. The truth is, you haven't done anything worthy of attention. The world doesn't owe you recognition. You exist, but you are irrelevant. That's the harsh reality. Until you become someone of value, no one will care if you win or lose. No one will care if you get rich or stay broke, and no one will care if you disappear tomorrow. People only notice results. They don't care about your struggles, your hard work, or how much effort you put in behind closed doors. They don't care how many hours you grind. They only care when they see the outcome. That's why losers complain that life is unfair, because they expect to be rewarded for effort instead of results. The real world doesn't work that way. You don't get a gold star for trying. No one is handing out trophies for participation. If you want people to notice, you have to become undeniable. Until then, you are nothing more than another name, another face, another nobody blending into the background. Right now, no one is inspired by you. No one is looking up to you. No one sees you as an example. You have zero impact on the world. And you know it deep down. You feel it. That's why you look at other men and feel envy. That's why you watch the ones who made it and wish you had what they have. But the difference between you and them is simple. They put in the work long before anyone cared. They suffered in silence. They built themselves up from the ground. And by the time the world noticed, they had already become powerful. You, on the other hand, are still waiting for permission to be great. No one is watching your journey. No one is sitting around hoping you make it. You think your friends support you. You think your family is behind you. They don't care. They might pretend to, but they're too busy with their own lives. They only start caring when they see you winning, when they see success, when they see status, when they see power. That's when the respect comes. Until then, you are just another dreamer with no results. People are selfish. They only care about what benefits them. The moment you become valuable, they'll act like they were on your side the whole time. You post something online and no one reacts. You try something new and no one notices. You think that's unfair? That's reality. Nobody is going to hand you attention. Attention is earned, it's taken. The ones who get noticed are the ones who have something undeniable. You don't get attention by demanding it. You get attention by becoming a man so powerful, so successful that people can't ignore you. But that doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen because you want it. It happens because you outwork, outthink, and outlast everyone else. The mistake weak men make is believing they deserve recognition before they've done anything worth recognizing. They want support before success. They want admiration before achievement. They want status before they've proven themselves. That's why they fail. They are too busy chasing validation instead of building themselves into something valuable. No one cares about your potential. No one is interested in your dreams. Show results or stay silent. The world respects proof, not promises. You think the world is unfair because no one is giving you a chance. You think you deserve more because you try, but trying is not enough. Everyone tries. Everyone wants success. Everyone dreams. The difference between the men who get noticed and the ones who stay invisible is execution. Ruthless, consistent execution. Day in, day out. No excuses, no complaining, just action. If you're still waiting for someone to care, you've already lost. The world only rewards those who prove they deserve it. No one is watching you right now. No one is thinking about you. No one is hoping you win. That's the brutal truth. But instead of feeling sorry for yourself, use it. Let it drive you. Let it push you forward. Let it force you to build yourself into something that demands attention. Because until you do, you will remain exactly where you are, unseen, unheard, and unnoticed. Motivation is a lie. It's a fleeting emotion, a temporary high that disappears the moment things get hard. You watch a motivational video, listen to some guy scream about success, and for a few minutes you feel unstoppable. You tell yourself you're going to change your life, start working out, start making money, start chasing your dreams. And then what happens? An hour later, you're back to scrolling, back to wasting time, back to being the same weak version of yourself. Because motivation isn't real power. It's just a spark. And a spark means nothing without fuel to keep the fire burning. Discipline is what separates the winners from the losers. A motivated man works hard when he feels like it. A disciplined man works hard whether he feels like it or not. That's the difference. Motivation is based on feelings. Discipline is based on action. The gym doesn't care if you're tired. The bank doesn't care if you don't feel like working. The world doesn't care if you aren't in the mood today. Either you show up and put in the work or you get left behind. The men who win, the men who dominate, the men who have everything you wish you had, they are the ones who did what needed to be done even on the days they didn't want to do it. Weak men rely on motivation. They need to feel ready before they take action. That's why they never accomplish anything. They spend their whole lives waiting for the perfect time, waiting for the right mindset, waiting for some magical moment where they suddenly feel like doing the work. And that moment never comes because life doesn't hand you the perfect conditions to succeed. Life doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. If you want to win, you have to force yourself to do the work day in and day out, no matter how you feel. That's discipline. The reason most men fail is because they treat their goals like a hobby instead of a duty. They go to the gym when they feel like it. They work on their business when they're inspired. They read books. They watch videos. They talk about success, but they don't live it. A disciplined man doesn't give himself the option to be lazy. He doesn't negotiate with himself. He treats success like breathing. It's not optional. It's not something he does when he's in the mood. It's something he does because he has no choice. That's why he wins. That's why people look up to him. That's why he has what others don't. You want to be in shape? You don't go to the gym when you feel like it. You go every day. No excuses. You want to make money? You don't work when it's convenient. You work until you're rich. You want to be successful? You don't wait for inspiration. You build habits that make success inevitable. The most dangerous man is not the one who is motivated. It's the one who is disciplined. Because motivation fades, but discipline never leaves. It becomes part of who you are. A disciplined man will outwork and outperform a motivated man every single time. People always ask, how do I stay motivated? That's the wrong question. Motivation doesn't matter. The right question is, how do I become disciplined? And the answer is simple. Stop giving yourself a choice. Remove emotions from the equation. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. You do the work no matter what. You wake up, you execute, you move forward. You feel tired, you do it anyway. You feel like quitting, you do it anyway. Winners act despite how they feel. Losers only act when they feel good. That's why they stay losers. Discipline is freedom. A man who is disciplined controls his life. He controls his time, his body, his mind, his money, his future. He doesn't rely on luck. He doesn't hope things get better. He makes them better. When you are disciplined, you are unstoppable. Nothing can shake you. Nothing can break you. You don't care if it's hard. You don't care if it takes years. You don't care if people doubt you. You show up and do the work until the results become undeniable. That's the mindset of a champion. That's the difference between men who talk about success and men who actually achieve it. Motivation is temporary. It fades. It comes and goes. But discipline is forever. It turns you into the kind of man who cannot be defeated. It builds habits, it builds strength, it builds power, and once you develop it, you never go back. Because when you live with discipline, you don't need motivation. You don't need hype. You don't need outside forces pushing you. You become your own driving force. And that is when you start to separate yourself from the rest of the world. Right now, you are weak. You have no money, no strength, no status, and yet you expect the world to respect you. You expect women to desire you, men to admire you, and society to hand you opportunities. But what have you done to deserve any of that? Nothing. You are just another faceless man, invisible and replaceable. The world doesn't reward mediocrity. It rewards the strong, the powerful, the men who have built themselves into something valuable. Until you fix yourself, you are nothing. Money, strength, and status. These are the pillars of a high-value man. Without them, you have no leverage in this world. You have no control over your life. A broke man has no freedom. A weak man has no respect. A nobody has no influence. And yet, most men walk around acting like their opinions matter, like their presence alone is enough to be noticed. It's puff. You don't get to have an opinion when you have no achievements. You don't get to demand respect when you bring nothing to the table. If you want power, you have to earn it. And that starts with fixing yourself. Money is the foundation. If you are broke, you are a slave. You wake up when someone tells you to, you go where someone tells you to, and you earn just enough to survive. That's not life. That's a cage. Money buys freedom. Money gives you options. A man with money doesn't beg for opportunities, he creates them. But instead of focusing on building wealth, most men waste their time chasing distractions, spending money they don't have, and complaining about how unfair life is. If you are still broke, you have no right to rest, no right to relax, no right to enjoy life. Every second should be spent fixing your financial situation. Strength is the next pillar. A weak man is prey. You walk down the street and nobody fears you. You get into an argument and you're the one who backs down. You live in a world where stronger men can take what they want from you and you just have to accept it. That is the reality of weakness. Strength isn't just about looking good, it's about dominance. A strong man commands respect without saying a word. His presence alone demands attention. But building strength takes discipline. It takes suffering. It takes pushing past limits most men are too soft to endure. That's why most men stay weak. They don't want to do what it takes. Status is the final piece. Who knows you? Who respects you? Who talks about you when you're not in the room? If the answer is no one, you are irrelevant. You can have money, you can have strength, but if no one knows who you are, you have no influence. Status is what separates the powerful from the forgotten. It's what gets you in the right circles, what opens doors, what makes people want to associate with you. But status is not given, it's built. It's built through achievement, through reputation, through proving you are a man of value. You don't gain status by being nice, by being agreeable, or by waiting for someone to notice you. You take it by force. Fixing yourself is the only way to win. Stop chasing women when you have nothing to offer. Stop expecting respect when you've done nothing to deserve it. Stop crying about how unfair life is and start doing something about it. The reason people look up to winners is because winners have done what losers refuse to do. They have built themselves from the ground up. They have created value. They have suffered, worked, and sacrificed until the world had no choice but to acknowledge them. If you want that same power, you have to go through the same process. There is no shortcut. Every successful man you admire had to start from nothing. No one handed them money. No one handed them strength. No one handed them status. They built it. They trained. They learned. They fought for their place at the top. And now the world respects them. Meanwhile, you sit there scrolling, watching, admiring, but never acting. You dream of being that man, but you are unwilling to suffer for it. That's why you stay stuck. That's why nobody respects you. You refuse to put in the work. You want money? Go earn it. You want strength? Go train. You want status? Go prove yourself. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you power. You either build yourself into something valuable or you stay at the bottom, forgotten and ignored. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every weak, mediocre man you see is addicted to comfort. They sleep in, they eat junk, they avoid pain, they take the easy route every single time. And then they wonder why their lives are pathetic. They wonder why they have no money, no respect, no power. It's simple. Because they refuse to sacrifice. They refuse to give up the things that keep them weak. They want success without suffering. They want rewards without risk. But that's not how the world works. You either sacrifice comfort or you sacrifice greatness. You can't have both. The biggest lie society tells you is that you deserve to be comfortable. You deserve rest. You deserve happiness. No, you don't. You deserve exactly what you have earned. If you are broke, you deserve to be broke. If you are weak, you deserve to be weak. If you are a nobody, you deserve to be a nobody, because every single day you make choices that either move you forward or keep you exactly where you are. And most of you choose comfort. You choose to sleep instead of grind. You choose to waste time instead of build. You choose to stay the same instead of suffer for something better. That's why you're losing. Greatness demands suffering. There is no way around it. You think the strongest men in history got there by being comfortable? You think champions, billionaires, and legends spent their time relaxing? Every powerful man you admire sacrificed something. Sleep, time, energy, relationships. Something had to be given up in order to achieve greatness. But most men aren't willing to pay that price. They'd rather enjoy the moment than invest in the future. They'd rather feel good now than be powerful later. That's why they never make it. They fear discomfort more than they desire success. Your body and mind are programmed to avoid pain. The second something gets hard, your instincts tell you to stop. Your brain tells you to rest. Your emotions tell you to quit. And that's where most men fail. They listen. They think those thoughts are real. They think their weakness is an excuse. But the men who win, the men who dominate, have mastered their mind. They ignore the voice telling them to stop. They push through the pain. They embrace the suffering because they know that every moment of discomfort is building them into something stronger, something greater, something unstoppable. The problem with comfort is that it tricks you into thinking you are safe. It makes you believe that as long as you have food, a roof over your head, and a little entertainment, you're doing fine, but you're not fine. You're stuck. You're stagnant. You're wasting your potential. The world isn't going to hand you success just because you exist. The world rewards the men who earn it. And earning it requires struggle. It requires discipline. It requires pain. If you are not willing to suffer for what you want, then you do not deserve to have it. Look around you. Weak men are everywhere. Addicted to comfort, addicted to pleasure, addicted to distractions. They sit around wasting time, waiting for some miracle that will never come. They avoid pain at all costs, and in doing so, they avoid success. And when they see a man who is winning, a man who has built himself up, they make excuses. He's lucky. He had help. It's not fair. No, he just worked while you were sleeping. He suffered while you were relaxing. He sacrificed comfort while you indulged in it. That's why he's at the top and you're still at the bottom. The harsh truth is this: if you want to be great, you must become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You must train when you don't feel like it. You must work when you are tired. You must stay focused when distractions are everywhere. Your emotions do not matter. Your feelings do not matter. Only results matter. And results come from discipline, from suffering, from sacrifice. The more comfortable you are now, the more miserable you will be in the future. But the more you suffer now, the more powerful you will become. Weak men seek comfort. Strong men seek challenge. That is the difference. That is what separates the average from the elite. Every single day you have a choice. Stay in bed or get up and grind. Waste time or invest it. Complain or take action. And every single day, the choice you make determines your future. Comfort is easy, but it leads to weakness. Suffering is hard, but it leads to greatness. Choose wisely. Women, friends, respect. Every man wants these things. Every man wants to be admired, to be surrounded by loyal people, to be respected wherever he goes. But most of you are chasing these things like desperate fools. You wonder why women don't want you, why your friends don't take you seriously, why no one listens when you speak. The answer is simple. You have no power. You are nothing. You have not built yourself into a man worth noticing. And that is why you are ignored. That is why you are invisible. The world does not care about your feelings. It does not care about your dreams. It does not care about what you think you deserve. The world operates on power. Nothing else. Money, influence, status, strength. These are the only currencies that matter. And until you have them, you are just another nobody. You can beg for respect, you can demand loyalty, you can complain about how unfair life is, but none of it will change the fact that you are weak. And weakness is punished. Weak men are overlooked. Weak men are ridiculed. Weak men are forgotten. Women do not want a weak man. They do not want a man who is begging for their attention. They are attracted to power. A powerful man doesn't chase, he attracts. He is so focused on his mission, so dedicated to his purpose, that women naturally gravitate toward him. They see his ambition, they see his discipline, they see his confidence, and they want to be part of it. But the average man does the opposite. He puts women first, he makes them his priority instead of his own success, and then he wonders why they lose interest. Women respect men who are too busy winning to care about their validation. Friends are the same. You think people want to be around you just because you're a nice guy? No one cares. People respect value. They respect success. They respect power. The higher you climb, the more people want to be around you. The more valuable you become, the more they will seek your approval. But right now, you are just another guy in the crowd. You bring nothing to the table. You have no skills, no knowledge, no resources. That's why no one listens to you. That's why no one values your presence. If you want true friends, if you want a strong network, you must become a man worth knowing. Respect is not given, it is earned. You do not get respect because you exist. You get respect because you have proven yourself. A man with power walks into a room and people pay attention, not because he demands it, but because his presence alone commands it. He doesn't have to ask for respect. He doesn't have to beg for recognition. He has built himself into a force that cannot be ignored. But most men are weak. They expect respect without doing anything to deserve it. They think just because they have opinions, they should be heard. But no one listens to nobodies. Everything you want, women, friends, respect, will come naturally when you focus on power. When you build wealth, when you develop strength, when you become disciplined, the world starts to take notice. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. It becomes obvious. The reason people don't respect you now is because you are not worth respecting. You have not done anything extraordinary. You have not proven yourself. Until you do, you will remain exactly where you are, unnoticed, unimportant, irrelevant. The men at the top understand this. That's why they don't waste time on meaningless relationships. They don't seek approval. They don't try to impress others. They focus on winning. They focus on becoming stronger. And in doing so, they attract everything that average men waste their time chasing. When you hold power, the world bends to you. Women seek your attention. Friends compete for your presence. People listen when you speak. Not because you ask them to, but because they recognize you as someone who matters. Power first. Everything else follows. That is the rule. That is the reality. And until you accept it, until you embrace it, you will continue to struggle. You will continue to be ignored. You will continue to wonder why the world does not give you what you want. But the truth is, the world has already decided. It does not reward the weak. It does not respect the desperate. It does not care about the forgotten. It only bows to power. Right now, no one talks about you. No one admires you. No one looks at you and thinks, that's a man I need to know. You're invisible. You walk into a room and nothing happens. No heads turn. No one stops to listen when you speak. You exist, but you don't matter. And deep down, you know it. It eats at you. You see other men, strong, powerful, respected, and you wonder why you're not one of them. The answer is simple. You haven't done anything worth talking about. You haven't built yourself into the kind of man that demands attention. The world only talks about men who create impact. The winners, the dominant, the exceptional, the men who have built themselves into something undeniable. That's why no one talks about you. Because you're just like everyone else. You blend in. You follow the crowd. You play it safe. But the men who make history, the men who are remembered, the men whose names are spoken with respect, they do the opposite. They break rules. They take risks. They impose their will on the world. And because of that, the world has no choice but to acknowledge them. You want to be that man? Then you need to stop living like the average nobody. The average man is weak. He has no discipline, no purpose, no drive. He wastes time. He avoids discomfort. He does what's easy instead of what's necessary. And then he wonders why no one cares about him. You have to be different. You have to be relentless. You have to work when others rest. You have to suffer when others seek comfort. You have to go all in on your mission, your purpose, your legacy. That's what separates men who are forgotten from men who are remembered. Look at the men who dominate, the men who make headlines, the men who have power. They are not normal. They do not live like everyone else. They are obsessed. They are disciplined. They are willing to sacrifice everything to become unstoppable. And that's why they are talked about. They do things that others cannot. They achieve what others only dream about. They create value, they build, they conquer. The world watches them because they make the world move. And that is exactly who you must become. People talk about strength. They talk about power. They talk about success. If you embody these things, you will never be ignored. When you walk into a room, people will take notice. When you speak, people will listen. When you act, people will follow. But none of this happens by accident. You must forge yourself into a man who is impossible to ignore. You must develop skills that make you valuable. You must accumulate power that makes you respected. You must push yourself to levels most men cannot even comprehend. Only then will you stand out. Weak men fade into the background. They live their entire lives unnoticed, unimportant, unspoken. No one remembers them. No one tells their stories. No one cares because they did nothing worth caring about. But strong men, powerful men, high value men, they leave a mark. Their names echo long after they're gone. They inspire, they dominate, they become legends. The question is, which man will you be? The one who is forgotten or the one who is impossible to ignore? If you want people to talk about you, you must become undeniable. You must excel at something. You must dominate in your field. You must become a man of status, a man of achievement, a man of influence. The world does not care about potential. It does not care about dreams. It cares about results. It cares about men who have proven themselves. Until you do that, you are just another face in the crowd. You are nothing. But the second you start winning, the second you start achieving, the second you start becoming powerful, the world will take notice. Stop being average. Stop blending in. Stop waiting for the world to recognize you. Become the kind of man that forces the world to talk about you. Build your name, build your power, build your legacy. Because in the end, there are only two types of men: those who are forgotten and those who are remembered.